You experiment and you find something that you love, the client still might not love it. So you're spending a bunch of time on a gamble. Whereas if you mess around on your own thing, you're the client. Memories of like, seeing the confetti fall and being there and being on the duck boat with Al Horford and 2 million people in Boston, like around that, or for the Jason Tatum video, just like hearing that Tatum like said it was the coolest video he'd seen made of himself. Like those are the things that will stay with me. No one is telling you what to do. Like you can do whatever you want. Use music you love. Use music that you don't hear other people use. If there's a voiceover that sounds cool to you or inspires you, like throw that in there. What you make when you have no restraints on yourself should be a reflection of what you like.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Cut. Today we got Gage, and I saw his stuff a while back. It was the craziest sports edit, basketball edit that I've ever seen, and you guys will understand why if you guys haven't seen it already. We started off talking about some of his more personal projects, and then we get into the sports edit towards the end of the video. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. So let's get into it. Let's watch this real quick.
Once you realize you can do anything, you're free. You can fly. Nobody can touch you. Don't be afraid to fly.
Stay hard, motherfucker. Stay hard. Get a load of this. Yes. What's so loud? Send the camera.
And not SGA, Gage. Okay. I don't play NBA.
Wild. Such a dope edit. Just as a background for people, you recently, I guess last year, August, you moved back to the West Coast. Initially, you're on the East Coast working for the Boston Celtics on their media team, which is crazy because everyone probably knows the legendary edit of like, that is a crazy edit. Because it was going everywhere, which we'll talk about later. But and then that's why, and then you moved over to the West Coast and started working with a production company. So then that's the whole background of like, obviously you work with a lot of big names and stuff like that, but then this passion project, just going out and shooting, and you probably didn't, were you just cutting it up and then you just had like footage and you're like, all right, let's just see what I'm doing? Or did you know you wanted to make an edit and like a piece from your trip?
No, I mean, like I mentioned, I went with two friends who both work in like video production. So we had cameras and we had kind of mentioned like, oh, we'll shoot some stuff and maybe like Gage will make an edit for all of us, or maybe we'll each do our own edits and see how they're different. But obviously didn't shoot with like any story in mind or anything like that. The clip that stood out to me was the gainer that my friend Santana did.
Yeah.
And I was just like, mess around with that clip. And like, I've done like probably one passion project like this before, like half a year ago when me and a couple friends went to the Oregon coast, and the process was the same with this video, where I kind of was just like, let me find a clip that I think is cool and like mess around for hours in After Effects, just like trying to find something that works. I mean, I like burned so many hours on these passion projects, like experimenting.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucked. Like, and just overthinking it because there is no client. So it's like, there's no deadline, there's no expectation. It's just up to me for when I think it's good enough. But yeah, I messed around on this clip. Just the stuff that we got when we were like cliff jumping was really like the coolest stuff. I think like me and my friends all agreed on that. So
dang.
But yeah, that was kind of how it started.
Okay, so this was the first shot you were like, yo, I gotta mess around with this shit right now. Let me just see what's up. Is that yeah, dang. Okay, so in terms of like the effects, like what did you actually do here?
I might not even be able to remember the specific effects, because I really just drag and drop stuff. I can say that basically all this edit was done in After Effects. I had like a really funky workflow on this one where I like, had it linked into a Premiere timeline. So I was doing like all the sound design in Premiere, but I was actually doing the cutting in the linked comp in After Effects. I think this is like Echo. This clip, and it's different. The best thing about these passion projects for me is just like learning stuff. So this was interesting because when you do echo on like a moving clip or a clip with a clear background, you're gonna get that echo on the background as well, and not just your subject. But since this is just like the sky behind him and it's in slow motion, like I actually messed around with like rotoing him out and getting just him, but it didn't make a difference actually. So it's just echo and then messing with like the delay and like the opacity of the echo, so that this one I got it so that I don't know, it was probably like 12 echoes, and
Yeah.
they are and I might have
Yeah,
actually, I
dude.
think I keyframe like it starts with no delay, so you don't notice the echo, and then as he spreads his arms, I keyframe the echo so it starts to appear as he's spreading his arms.
Oh, and does the echo like progress? Like, is it or like is it timings longer or shorter
I
as you
think
go on?
the echo is just like you choose a certain duration of time, and they're all spread
Just
out from each other the same amount of time. So this was probably half a second, or I don't know,
damn.
something like that. That's an example. But yeah, you can just keyframe that, like the delay of how much time. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's wild, dude. So you actually rotoscoped this and then tried it, and you're like, it looks the same. You're like, what the? All right.
Yeah. I like tried different things. Is like I tried like a seamless transition of like panning from him flipping to another clip of like my friend flipping. And I was just like I got to the point where I was overcomplicating it, and I was like, oh, I mean, this looks cool as it is.
Yeah, how often for you does that happen where you overcomplicate? You're working on one effect and you're like, dude, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
let me go for a walk right now because I'm stressing myself out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not fun when you do it forever, and it's like, yeah, now you're just torturing yourself. But like I said, I probably like there are multiple times where I spent like 8 hours on one clip on like different effects, and by the end of it, I was like, I literally made no progress. Like,
Yeah.
but that's just how you learn, and that's the most important. Like, these passion projects are just ways to like express your creativity with no like guidelines or anything, and also just like to add tools so that when you are doing client work or whatever next big project, like you have some you've gotten better. So I don't put like restraints on how much time on like one thing until I like put it down. But it's a good
Yeah.
thing to learn, because if you are too perfectionist, like, and like that was the way with this video, where I was super perfectionist with the first 20 seconds, and then by the end I was like, I just need to like finish it. Like I had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Export this. Let me export this real quick. 2020, you did a lot of YouTube tutorials. Now that you've been in the game, which is actually not that long to be honest, and it's amazing the stuff that you've been doing. But like, how often do you look at tutorials now to like try stuff, or are you literally just in After Effects and you're just like, let me rotor this. What's this effect? Let me just, or are you even looking at tutorials at this point?
Yeah, that's a good question. I use tutorials a lot less. Editing was just a quarantine hobby, and I taught myself After Effects just through YouTube tutorials. So I was logging crazy hours on YouTube tutorials for sure. I couldn't get enough. But now I don't know. I mean, I think now I'd say I probably first go to, unless it's like something very specific, or like motion graphics, uh,
Mm,
like animation type stuff, where I might not really have any idea where to start. I think my instinct now is I usually will get inspiration, either just an idea or inspiration from someone else, and I'll try to replicate it just in editing by myself the best that I know that I can. And then maybe if it's taking a long time, like I'll see if there's any tutorials. But I think actually, like for the more just like editing and like simple effect stuff, there's like not even tutorials for specific stuff like that a lot of the
yeah.
time, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of either like you figure it out or you move on. um
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
also,
trial and error.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because this one stood out. This one was crazy. And then this, like, when you're thinking, I'm always like, when you're looking at these clips, are you just like, oh, there's all this negative space here. Let me like duplicate this, or let me just try this out. Like, and coming from like the left to the right side, like, did you try different things, or how the process through your mind? What was that?
For this one, I liked like the composition. It like going through footage where we're just like, on the go. Most of it is kind of throwaway or just like it looks like a vlog or whatever. So again, this is shout out to Santana if he ever watches this, because this is most of his footage. Like that was is me and my other friend. And Tana was a little way back, so he just shot this and he was just in his hands, but it was steady enough that I could just like warp stabilizer it and lock it off in post. And I'm like kind of a fiend for like cloning stuff, so I just saw it an opportunity to like clone ourselves. This was a really fun one specifically. I had never I don't know if I've done this before as far as like, I've always wanted to, but haven't had like the right opportunity to. The subject starts at the same point and then multiple versions come out of that one point. So this is kind of that way where it starts with us just hiking in the back and then 2 versions come out. And that's just, again, like a ton of trial and error of like, how fast do I want this to happen? Where do I want them to like end up? Like how spaced out? And I think I just landed on like they're evenly spaced out. So there's kind of like, once it gets to this point where it's the six people, they're like all spaced evenly.
Spaced out evenly. Yeah.
Just like messing with the easy ease and After Effects to get that timing how I like it. And I think the last step on this one that I really like is the like radial blur.
Yeah.
Was just like keyframing the radial blur to follow the clones, so it ends up on the latest version. And that's literally just like, I think initially I was just like, what would it look like to kind of blur this whole like frame? And then I was like, oh, what if it, keeps you keyed in on the subject? So it's really just like having one idea and like slowly building on it.
Dude, you seem so like even keeled. I feel like, are you ever, when you do these, you're like, what like, are you ever like that? You're like, oh no, that looked good.
Probably in my mind, I'm more stoked.
Yeah.
I'm never like,
Okay.
like physically like, I don't know. I definitely have, probably not with this edit, but with other things, maybe like more high stakes things where I have more pressure on myself. If I like think I'm getting it right, I'll like put on a song and start like dancing around.
Yeah. You're like, yo, I'm the best
weird.
right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I killed
But-
it. No. Okay.
I think with like these, I'll just end up like watching it over and over, and that's when I know that like I got something. If I just like love just watching it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're kind of just locked in, and then I feel like after a while, if you're working on it for hours, sometimes you're just not even hype anymore because you're just like, it's so close to the effect that you were trying already. You're just perfecting it. You're like, okay,
Yeah, I've seen this a million times. It's not even. Yeah.
And this was kind of dope.
Yeah. I mean,
What
this
was
is
that?
this is probably the last part of the video where I was putting in effort until I like was like,
Yeah, you're done.
but I think that was there's a few shots that were like kind of, there's one shot where like I think it was again my friend Santana just like racking out really quickly, zooming out really quickly, and so it's nice to like flash cut things like that. I think it's probably just like a few frames of a film burn, and I like changed the blend mode to God knows what. I just spam those blending modes until it looks good, but it had like a cool kind of drop down transition. And then this, I think this was another thing where I had like a second clip on top of this shot and changed the blending mode on that second clip to make this one like have a really cool kind of just like orange crazy look to it. Because this is not what it looked like in person. It was like
Oh, that's wild. Yeah. Because it was an initial shot. That's what it really looked like. I'm assuming. For some reason, I just thought that it was like there's 2 different shots of different settings where one was a little bit more dark and it was exposed for the bag.
Now that I'm remembering, I think because at the start of this clip, it's what it usually looks like, and then I think I just like brought up the opacity on the clip above it that had the blending mode. So like the stronger that got, the more it started to look like this, and then just like fading it all to black at the last second, so it like progressively gets, when you're raising the blending mode of the clip on top, it's getting darker, so then you just like lower the opacity of everything at the end, so it feels like it's just getting darker the whole time.
Okay. I want to talk about this intro too.
You can do anything. You're free.
The audio, and then just doing this. Okay, first the audio. When did you decide to use that audio? Like, or when did you have it in your notes and you're like, oh, this is perfect right now?
The voiceover or the music?
Yeah, the
The
voiceover.
voiceover?
Or both, actually.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I had like a strong idea. I think what I probably did was for this video, I was going through my like playlist on Spotify of like songs to save for edits. Like all, I'm sure most people that make videos have that playlist for themselves. So
Yeah.
I was just going through and hearing all those, and there's a song I forget the name of it. It's a Kid Cudi song. But at the very end of the Kid Cudi song is a part of this voiceover.
Okay.
Where he says like it's actually I think he has the whole bite. It's the end of one song and it transitions into the start of another song where he's just like whatever you're free, you can fly, and then that's the end of a song and then he finishes. Heard that because that's in that playlist and I was like, oh, this isn't the song for this edit, but I like the voiceover, so I found the original source, which is like some random like old movie where it's Macaulay Culkin when he's a kid and he's just like this evil kid and he's giving this like monologue. I don't know. It's super weird, but
Yeah. But that's so weird. I'd never heard of that. Yeah,
yeah. So it's kind of like he's being like kind of like weird and evil to this other kid, but out of context, it's like cool and motivational or just like ethereal kind of.
Yeah.
And then the music on this is just it's from that playlist. Like I was just like, oh, this fits the vibe. And yeah, just combining those two, I think like I did the same thing in my past passion project where I like just you know, meshing like different voiceovers and music that aren't together. So I don't know. I think when you're doing a passion project, this is like something that is like a pet peeve of mine on social media is when everyone just uses like the same song, the
Trending.
same trending thing. It's like no one is telling you what to do. Like you can do whatever you want. Like use music you love. Use music that you don't hear other people use. If there's a voiceover that sounds cool to you or like inspires you, like throw that in there. What you make when you have no restraints on yourself should be a reflection of like what you like. So I think that maybe is why a video like this resonates with people is because they can tell that who made it took time and like it's a part of themselves a little. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long-winded way to say that the music and the VO, I guess, come from a Spotify playlist that I have together.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's such an interesting take. I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes it's like the trending stuff. You see it like, and it's also the trending. It starts to get to the point where it's not just the trending audio, but it's like the trending edit as well. You know,
Yeah, they're
kind of
not
the
even
same
like
thing.
creating their own flow or anything. It's just
Yeah, it's the same
like
stuff.
definitely something that went viral or yeah.
Yeah. I love that it feels so original, and I guess that's what makes it a passion project, because it's like it's not just a piece of content. It's like, nah, I had this in my playlist. I like this audio bite sounded good from this movie. Um so it kind of like all came together. I think that's why people resonate with it. How did you do this? What was this?
The story behind this is a lot less cool than I think it is.
Okay, yeah.
There's not much I mean, I did a little stuff to it, but I guess this is the tail end of the clip that comes after it, the one where the kid is where he's jumping, I guess it's in reverse, so he's jumping out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
I was filming that and I was just like at like where the water was low on the rocks, and I filmed it just like locked off. So he jumped into frame and out of frame. And so I was just watching my monitor. I think this was like the first shot that I did when I was sitting down there on the rock. So the splash like came up and I kept just holding my camera there as the splash came up until I got soaking wet. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. But I got a shot with just like the splash coming up and locked off. So I think that I did this part, like that reverse and like mirror kind of thing. I did that first, and then as I was watching it, because I shot it in 120 frames, so as I was watching, I was just watching through the whole clip, and I saw, it's just locked off on the sky. When you have obviously like when it happened in real time, he goes in and the water comes up like bang bang, but when
Yeah.
it's slowed down to 20%, it's slower. So I was like, oh, that's a cool hook where it just like kind of starts quiet on the sky, and then out of nowhere this like explosion of like water comes up and you can see what's causing that. So I just thought that was really dope. And then yeah, I mean when I was watching in slow motion, there was just one water drop that literally like felt like it caught focus out, like was the only thing that caught focus for a few frames. So I just like transformed the hell into it. Like I cranked up, I keyframed the scale to like 500% by the end of this and just like finessed it so that it, you know, comes straight into the, by the last few frames, it gets like, you can tell it gets pixely as hell because it's blown up. But yeah, it was like, it's all practical as far as I just like noticed this one drop and it stayed somewhat in the center of the frame. So I was able to like, you know, finesse the position and scale to keep it all the way in the middle. But if I had any 3D bag, we would be
Yeah,
to the water. It would be down the
yeah,
water
yeah.
slide.
He's in the water droplet. Your boy is in the
Yeah.
water droplet while
If I had
it.
any blender bag, but no, this is just
That's
so
all practical. That's
skill.
wild because I didn't think it was. I thought you were gonna be like, nah, I grabbed some assets and I did this, and that is crazy. What?
Yeah, no, I mean sometimes you just get lucky and all it takes is just kind of, you know,
Finesse,
the
a little
classic,
finesse.
yeah, a little finesse and just like seeing what maybe other people might not see, but that might be giving myself way too much credit. I think I just got really lucky.
No, I feel like it's a bit of. I think it's a bit of both because it's a little bit of preparation. Like you were there with your camera. It's a little bit of luck, a little bit of prep. That is wild though, because even the way like the light, it hit the light, or like it was lit, it almost looked like it was. That's why it looked
Yeah.
kind of fake because it was singled out as a drop, and I was like, nah, that's crazy. What?
Where we were in Maui, I forget the name of the spot we were at, but like in the time of day, it was just so beautiful there. So the natural lighting was already kind of nuts there, and you can see it even on these water drops and just
Yeah.
like the sky. But yeah, I don't know how it like catches focus of that and like
Dude,
seeing
it's
with
perfect.
just that drop. Yeah, it's like right there, and it's like
Like-
yeah, it's glimmering. It's crazy.
It's like it's literally like, and you saying it's the only thing in focus. It's like it's. I felt like it was fake. Like I
Yeah.
guarantee you, 85% of people are like this. It's a literal perfect shot. Like the way it's shining.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember thinking about either like a similar thing with the radial blur or like vignetting, trying to like make it more of a focus, but then I was like, I'm doing too much here. Like it's
Yeah.
you can already see it pretty well. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lucky
What?
shot.
Dude, that's wild. That's wild. Oh, I feel like it just came together. So, how long did it take for you? Okay, you guys got back and you said a week you started editing, or it took you a week to edit?
I didn't start editing this until like 2 weeks after the trip because I like got back and then I went to New York for a project, and so I wasn't like back and just like in my regular flow for a little while. And then I mean I wasn't editing this consistently for a month, but it probably took me a month to get around to fully finishing it because it's just during my day I'm doing actual work. So I just make time for this after work or on the weekends or whatever. So I think I had the first 20 seconds done pretty. I don't know how long it actually took me. It probably still took me a while just because of what I've mentioned of like messing around on it. But it took me way longer to get the motivation to actually finish the video. I think I got to a point where I was like, if I don't do this soon, I'm never gonna finish it, and like I need to finish it. So you really just have to like force yourself. And that was another thing of like I said, when I got closer to the end of the video and I was kind of running out of like footage I loved or like ways to keep it like as cool as the intro, maybe I had to kind of put my pride aside and be like, it's fine if the whole thing is not like breathtaking. It just needs to get done. And what I think is trash, other people will probably think it's still like good enough. And then just through like forcing myself to do that, there were some points where I was like, oh no, this actually like, I do like how some of these things turned out. But yeah, as far as like hours logged on this, I would honestly have no idea how to even like estimate.
How to even log it? Because you're like, it's like 12 hours here, and then you're just like an hour here and here. Nah, I just wanted to know if like you had a rough estimate because, yeah, sometimes people like don't gauge. And all honestly, it's like you're probably fast. Like those 8 hours is probably would take people days because you know you have experience doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I would say probably time editing. I feel like I probably could have put close to like 30 or 40 hours on this probably. Just of like, but 3/4 of that is not in the video. It was just like doing stuff that ended up getting cut. But
Yeah.
that's how you get to the stuff that gets included.
Because this is a personal passion project. Is that the same ratio for when you do like work stuff? Is like 75% of it messing around and you're like, nope, 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 nope. Or do you have to be on point? And I guess it's also might be different because you were in the sports world where I feel like deadlines are like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think for out in and out of sports world, deadlines are like that. Because time is money. You're getting paid for all that time you put in. So that is like the tricky thing with what makes passion projects like these, and just like doing, if you do have a job or even if you're like freelance and you're the stuff you're getting paid for, doing work outside of that for yourself on your own time is like the most important thing. Because first of all, just like reminding yourself, sometimes it's a good reminder of like why you're doing it, why you fell in love with it in the first place. And then, like I've said, like a way to get better, because that goes to answer your question, which is I find more often than not, I don't really have that time to like spend 5 hours on something that isn't going to make the edit. You're working towards round one cut, like a first rough edit, and the ball just keeps rolling from there. So you can find bits and pieces in the process where it's like, oh, I have a moment here to like spice this up or try some things, but definitely not to this extent. You kind of have to, yeah, sharpen that blade in other, like at other times, like this passion project, so that once you're in that, it's a little bit like, this is probably a really bad analogy, but like sports, where the edits that you're getting paid for and that are for clients and stuff, those are the games. Like you don't have time to like
Yeah.
practice. I think of lacrosse because I played lacrosse. Like you don't have time to work on your behind the back or this like low to high shot or something ridiculous. Like you have to show up and like play well. But in the other times you can have fun and you can be like, oh, this
Let me try this. Yeah. Let me try this behind the back in practice right now.
crossover. This is gonna be nasty, and they ain't seen this before. So I always try to pay attention when I'm working to like, oh yeah, I have some time here to mess around and do something that people aren't expecting. But I guess that is another point of like, sometimes clients are asking for something or expecting something. So to even experiment might be, and you experiment and you find something that you love, the client still might not love it. So you're spending a bunch of time on a gamble. Whereas if you mess around on your own thing, you're the client. So it's like, oh, I messed around, I don't like it, but I messed around and I do like it. Okay, this is gonna make the edit.
Yeah.
I can promise you that a lot of stuff I did in that video for, different, like if there was somebody that I was making that for, certain people are gonna like or dislike different parts of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's nice when you're your own boss in that sense.
Is that the end goal for you at some point where you're just making your own content, or are you just enjoying it right now? You actually like doing big brands, big names right now, working with a team, which is like not a lot of people get to do that. And they don't understand like the logistics of having a team and having deadlines. You're not shooting the footage, you're getting it, and like the workflow of like all that stuff. Because you've been in it for a while, because you did a internship when 2021 or 2020.
I was at the Celtics for like a year and a half ish. I started as an intern and ended up being like part-time for a little while, but and that's a lot different than working in a sports team is super different than working like at a company or freelance. Just it's different like projects, like commercials and documentaries versus like quick turnaround sports stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think I don't like look too far into the future, but like I know that you go far with a team, and I'm like super grateful to be with a dope team right now and learning what it takes to make like when I pivoted, or I don't like using like corporate words, but
Yeah, no, don't worry, just do it.
when I left the Celtics, it was like nothing was wrong there. I just have always been interested in commercials and things that you have more time to work on and take more people and, are in different sports or different worlds. And so I'm just, yeah, I want to like tell really cool stories and not be limited to like any one sport or genre. I'm still learning a ton about, what it takes to do that, and like what part of the process I want to be, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
like learning how to direct and what it is like to direct and see if I like that and if I want to pursue that, or do I like being the editor solely? Do I want to do both of those things? Like, there's unlimited paths in this industry. And that's daunting, but it's exciting too. So what is probably partially your question is I've never thought about like being my own creator or like just
Yeah.
making, like Instagram reels and YouTube videos and that just being my thing. I think and that stuff is awesome and like people need to do that because that's like stuff I watch in my free time. But I think what I aspire to is, being a part of a team and making things that are professionally done and like you can be really proud of, as like hopefully making things that are like at the top of what is being made. But when stuff like this gets attention, you get the creeping like, oh, what if I just like
Yeah.
like flew around
What
the
if I went
world,
full time on this? What if
just
I bet
made
on myself right now, huh?
yeah, I just made stupid edits like on all these trips and just like got somehow paid to just like travel and make edits. Like I see people doing that. That seems pretty dope, but who knows?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, what if me and my friends just get paid to go to places and there's nothing but us just shooting stuff? Like, but then obviously it gets to a point where it's like, then you get into the deadlines and it's like, does it become fake? Because then you have to plug in a sponsor, do this, and that's a whole other thing, which I feel like is tough for a lot of like the creator world as opposed to. I feel like you're in the best position because you're doing what you love, and then when you do get these vacations or you get to go chill with the homies and you make stuff that you really want to make and it does well, like in terms of numbers don't really matter, but like your people love this. Like there's so much people that like it, so it actually like it feels good. But then like there's that little inclining where it's like, yo, Gage, maybe we should keep doing this. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, I'm super grateful for yeah, exactly what you said. And yeah, especially like it's interesting. I've been thinking about this recently of like, you know, I don't do things for the likes or the follows or like that's never been what I do it for, but like you have to have an audience for what you're making stuff, like what you're making. That's like I think that is a necessary and very important part of like making anything in the world is like you need people who are gonna consume it and either like it or not like it. So I was just like thinking about that recently of like I'm really grateful that like for I guess, for the last few years I've had a lot of people who care about what I make. And I know that a lot of people would like really, really wish that they had an audience. And so that's like cool that I can make something for a client or whatever, and people will tune in to see that. And then on the other hand, they will also care equally, if not more, about a stupid trip I went on. And like,
So personal stuff, personal projects.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like liberating to know that I can kind of do whatever as long as I think it's cool and other people will like want to see it.
Because I feel like at this point, don't you kind of feel like, I know, yeah, you're also editing it and you're also the editor behind it. But I feel like at some point, it's like, oh no, people like me not for like all the clients that I work with and all the cool edits I obviously do, but it's like it feels like they like you for you a little bit, like a little bit of your personality. That's always like eye opening, and you're like, oh, these aren't just kind of people like numbers right now.
Yeah, it's easy to lose sight of that, especially like I don't know, I don't like share much about actually myself. I don't think I've ever like posted a like picture of who I am on my Instagram. It's really like just my work. So sometimes I'm like, why would someone like take note of my account or like be waiting for another post if they don't actually like know who I am? But I think it's probably actually not that hard to just through maybe just the work, the videos, and then like just the captions or whatever. Like you can
Mhm.
kind of you create an image of who this person is. So it's dope.
So I guess, is this like the first time you'll really be kind of showing your face, like
Uh,
like online?
I'm trying to think because I've been interviewed for like some like news like articles or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but I'm not sure if yeah, this is
yeah.
now that you mention it.
Dude, now that I'm like, oh man, should I blur this guy's face out? This is like AI. You
Yeah.
know.
No, people like people joke with me about like doing stuff where I'm actually in it, or like maybe not, they like half joke, but they're like, you should like post,
Yeah.
get a fit pic off, like show
Yeah.
people who you are.
You're like,
Like,
what am I? A fit pic? You're like, all
yeah,
right.
but I don't know. That's another like niche thing that probably only people in this world consider. But I do legitimately like look at other people who I admire their work first, but then I look at their
Mm,
Instagram and I'm like, oh, they do post some stuff about themselves. And actually I learn more and I get a little more invested to see the next thing they do because I know a little more about this person.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
sometimes it's not what I should be worrying about, but sometimes I do think like, would that hurt to share a little bit more? But I think I always come back to like, I really just want, at least for Instagram, I want it to just, and any social media at this point, I like it to just be like my portfolio. Like you
Yeah.
see it and there's like no fat. You just see the things that I'm proud of. But it's an interesting world where there's a lot of ways to do things. So,
Yo, let me ask you how it felt like to get an NBA championship ring.
uh, dude, honestly, a lot of people, there's been a few things like I have like an Emmy sitting right next to me from the Celtics as well. Like things like that.
Oh, wait. The Emmy is from what? Like, because I know you won an Emmy, and I was gonna ask about it, but I didn't know what it was for.
It's actually a video that I look back on and I'm like, this is not that good, but
Horrible. Yeah.
it's like Jason Tatum hit 10,000 career points. It's probably like lower down on my Instagram. The cover of it is like Jason Tatum screaming like really tight to the frame. But also regional Emmys, at least the one I won, the competition is not like, I'm not going against Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan. It's like
Yeah.
news like segment.
Still, I feel like you're downplaying it, dude. Like, an Emmy's an Emmy to me. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I'll take it, but that's
Yeah.
that's all. I didn't mean to try to flex an Emmy. That's all to say that in the ring, a lot of like basically everyone else was super like stoked and impressed on those things, and I don't know, they don't like those material things. This sounds super cringe to say this, but it really is the truth for me. I don't really like care about the physical things, memories of like, seeing the confetti fall and being there and being on the duck boat with Al Horford and 2 million people in Boston, like around that. Or I guess for the Jason Tatum video, just like hearing that Tatum like said it was the coolest video he'd seen made of himself. Like those are the things that will stay with me and like will like give me goosebumps like forever. So it's obviously like I'm not gonna complain about having like a real NBA championship ring. That is insane, but it's just gonna like stay in a closet for the rest of my life unless I like wear it at my wedding. But
Yeah, I'd be rocking it everywhere for you. I'd be like going
dude,
to a
it doesn't really
barbershop.
feel big
Yeah,
out.
because it's huge, ain't it? Like
Yeah,
kind
I think
of
I got
ridiculously big.
yeah, it's huge, and they tell you to size up. I think I went like half a size too big, so it's kind of like it can just like spin around like a fidget spinner on my
Fidget
finger. But,
spinner, dude, turn it into a fidget spinner. But you know what? I get it exactly what you mean. You're like, not. It's like not really the physical things, but like that little piece of physical thing is like it's gonna be a reminder for all the little things.
yeah,
You
true.
know, the things that
Yeah.
or the confetti, the float, or the parade or whatever. Actually, can we talk about the edit? Let's
Which
see.
one?
Okay, first of all, I know you said you like lacrosse, How the heck did you get? Are you into basketball? How did you get the internship at basketball?
When I started teaching myself how to edit, I mean, I never played basketball, but I have always been a fan of basketball.
Okay.
I'm born and raised in like San Francisco area. So actually ironic enough with this video, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are the reason that I fell in love with basketball because I was I was in middle school when they were a dynasty, so it was impossible not to be a basketball fan. But yeah, when I was teaching myself how to edit, it was mainly like NBA Phantom Cam, like the super slow
Slow mo.
stuff that they would put on YouTube or Twitter. I was like, just the community that I started editing in is like a niche kind of sports editing community where they use a lot of like Phantom Cam stuff to do the edits to. So that's just how I started. And then I was like, I'm also like a University of Florida big like sports fan of theirs because that's where my parents went to school. So I did edits of their basketball team, and then I like did some mixtapes for players on that team. And I just like slowly was like, without knowing, pushing myself into this world. So when I got to college, I started just doing work for Northeastern's basketball teams. Long story short, there was an internship for the Celtics that I applied for, and like that's probably the coolest story of my journey so far. But like it was just like fate, kind of, it felt like, to land that. But yeah, no,
Damn.
I played soccer and lacrosse. I played lacrosse into college, but I have no jumper. Probably would break all the layups too. I'd probably be a good energy guy on defense.
So did it hurt editing some of these where you're like when they're like against Golden State? You're
No, I don't. The crazy thing about this one was I was flying back home the next day. I think so. I like edited this overnight and was on a flight home the next day, and then yeah, this was a wild like week of my life for sure. No, at this point it was like, damn. I mean, we had just gotten that fourth ring that like we kind of all thought it was over, and then Steph Curry is just the greatest ever. So we somehow got that ring against the Celtics the year before. There's a lot of like weird crazy Passover with like my timing with the Celtics and also being a
yeah.
fan. But so it was like, nah, like we got what we got, and now I work for the Celtics. So I became a big Celtics fan because how they do directly impacts my life. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I guess that does make sense. That
yeah.
really makes sense. In terms of this edit, how did this come? Like in your head, like, or was it? I know it's probably a team effort, and like Pete, you're getting stuff, but like, what was the process?
This was also, it kind of reminds me actually of my editing process where I did a version of this first for like our all-star campaign where I had it locked off and I like faded up and down people on different parts of the court, but it's like locked off the whole time and you just are seeing the full court the whole time. I don't remember the thought process, but I guess I was like, if you kind of create a camera shake, like doing that in After Effects, and then you can probably just like make up the camera movement, and that way I'd never tested it. This was the first time I even tried it.
What do you mean you never tested it? You're wild. This is when when you like we're just talking about practice. You don't want to like try behind the backs in the game, but then there's some moments where you're like, this is a perfect time for me to hit up behind the back right now.
Dude, but that's the beauty of, at least, like, this is just a shout out to the people I worked with at the Celtics, who are
Yeah.
amazing people. Like, I had that freedom where they didn't even know I don't think anyone knew I'd shot this or even tried it until I just sent the video to my boss, because I was
What?
like, my duties at the Celtics since I was still an intern was like filing cards at the person on the court, like filing their footage, and just like shooting the interviews before and after the game and things like that. And then in the free time, I can go and shoot whatever. So I think for this one, because this was just the first half, I had to think through the logistics in my head, but I brought sticks up to the 9th floor and I just told the person who was shooting on the court, hey, I'm not going to be there to swap cards with you at the end of the first quarter because I'm going to be shooting up on floor 9 for the whole first halves, but I'll grab your footage at halftime and I'll like have it all filed by the end of the game. So I just like created that window to shoot the whole first half without having to worry about that. But yeah,
Oof.
if it didn't work, like no one was expecting anything. I would have just been like, dang, that could have been cool or whatever. So, but the timing was like super crazy where the one game I like was trying this and doing it for just a half. This was like it's in the caption, like just
44.
half. They like blew the Warriors out. They scored like 80 points in the first half or something. Up by 44. Yeah.
Up by 44.
So it
That's
was already like
wild.
buzzing on Twitter and whatever, like, oh my God, the Celtics just embarrassed the Warriors.
Oh, so this is like a perfect, like a
Yeah.
little bit of that luck and preparation that we talked about. You know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah. It's not like super random. It like also played into if you had watched the game, you're like, oh, these are all the plays from that first half. It is like connected to a storyline, which I got super lucky with. But
That's wild. So this is just one wide shot, and then you're just like capturing that first 24, the first 2 quarters. And then,
yeah, just on sticks, just probably at
Yeah.
like 70 millimeters because you're because you
You're
just
still
need
far back. Yeah, you're still
you just need-
wide.
yeah, and you just need one half of the court in frame, or like a little more than half of the court because you want them getting over half, I guess.
Over half, yeah.
Just locked off, and the quality does get like kind of shitty when I'm punched in like this much, but I don't think people like
Dude, I don't think people are like nitpicking like, dude, look at these pixels. You know what I mean? I highly doubt it. When was this? You sent it to your boss, and it was your boss like, we got to release this? And then like, when did they release it? How long after this game happened?
I'm trying to remember. I probably edited it kind of overnight, maybe finished it the next morning, and then I had a flight at night from Boston to San Francisco. So I had sent it. I remember I had sent it to him right before I left for the airport. So this game ended at, I don't know, 10 p.m. I sent it to him at like 3 p.m. the next day. And then I got on a flight. He got it and he sent it to like the social team to be posted. And I had a feeling. I was like, I'm excited for this to go out. So I was like itching to get Wi-Fi when the plane landed.
Just refreshing. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, but it hadn't been posted yet, and I was like, oh no, are they not gonna post this? Like, it's weird, and I'm sure it's different in different sports teams, but like you give something to the social team and they kind of like do as they please a little. I think so. I was like, oh man, I really hope they post this, and I think so that night I sent a message to like either the social guy or my boss or maybe both of them, and I was like, hey, making sure you guys like got this link and got the file, and just like making sure you saw it kind of thing, and went to bed. And then I woke up the next day, and since I was on the West Coast, I don't know, it was a weird thing where I woke up at the exact time that it got posted, like early in the morning on the West Coast, and it like just immediately started going crazy. And it also like Instagram, not because of this video, but Instagram crashed like an hour after this got posted, which was like a wild timing of like I started getting, it was a crazy time, the amount of like DMs and texts I was getting. And immediately, like one of the articles you read, like I did that like right after this went out. This girl who was a reporter at the Celtics wanted to like ask me about my job in the video like immediately. So it started going really quickly that day.
Holy
Like
crap.
at the same time, I was like trying to see if Instagram was working. It might have been spring break or something. And I was just home, just like chilling for a week, just feeding the dopamine, just like getting all
Yeah, dude. I could imagine how crazy it must have been for you to like do that and just be like, oh my God. Especially like when you're opening the app. You're probably opening the app and you're like, here, likes, follows, comments, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. It's a great feeling, but it's also like when that passes and then you try to chase that again, so it was kind of tough. You know what I mean? It's a little toxic. Well deserved, dude. This was amazing.
This one has followed me to this day for sure, in good and bad ways. I still get people being like, can you do a version of this video for us? And it's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I've gotten that a bunch on some stuff where I did my recent thing for Nike running. Like we didn't shoot for it, but we had a kind of like high and tight thing that was able to like kind of do something like that. But I get I've gotten a bunch of other things where people are like, yeah, we just want something kind of like this. And it's like, what are you talking about? You have to like shoot for that. And like, it takes a whole plan. And I can't just use a bunch of random footage of this. Like, I don't know. I've for
Yeah.
a bunch for random stuff. And I've also, seen that kind of video redone for, that's been, I know people have different opinions on like seeing something they've done kind of like it's been awesome to like,
Oh, really? That's how you feel?
yeah, I mean, it's super dope. A lot of in basketball, but like the coolest thing is how much it like spread to, they did it for like wrestling, golf, football, and people all
Yeah.
across the world too. Like people will tag me in something and I can't even like read the caption. It's in a different language that I don't even know. So I probably still haven't even really grasped like how crazy it is. I got a crazy message from, shout out to the people who work at Manchester City, the
What?
soccer team, but they were like, Pep Guardiola, like the head coach, saw it and like texted them that he loved it. Like it's insane how much like a random video can spread to uh anyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was one that definitely hit a lot of timelines, which was crazy.
Dude, that's wild. It hit across the world. I guarantee you did. And even different, because I was telling my brother this. I was like, oh yeah, it's not just like basketball fans. It's, and it's not just like editors or people into this stuff. It's just cool for like anyone to see it. And I think that's why like it was perfect. I feel like it's such a legendary edit. That's what I have in my notes. I'm like, yo, gotta ask him about the legendary edit, because I think this is the one where if I show people, any one of my friends, they'll be like, oh, I know that. Like, yeah, I've seen that. Which is crazy. Like, I'll tell you, like, probably 90% of my friends and like my family,
Yeah,
they know this.
it's
So
nuts.
it's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like walking into work that following after that week you came back must have been, I would have been on top of the world. Like, a little big headed. I'm not gonna lie. I would have been like, because people were probably like, yo, Gage, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? and and obviously the players probably saw it and everything, but you must have been on cloud nine, like walking into work. Like, were you
Yeah,
not?
I
Were,
mean,
were people stopping you?
I don't remember specifically. I think there were always those times where I looked forward to coming to work after a video that I was like proud of went out.
Mm,
And just like, yeah, like my friends who worked in and around the Celtics just being like, oh man, you crushed that or whatever. That's always a good feeling for sure. But honestly, that one was a bit almost swung the opposite way, where because like that video specifically wasn't like a team effort necessarily. Like I shot it and edited it, and
yeah,
but it takes a village to like make that organism run, and we're making a bunch of other videos, and my boss is putting us in all these places to succeed and stuff like that. So it did get to a point where I was like, it's a little uncomfortable knowing that your coworkers are seeing you get all this praise that I'm not even like asking for, and
yeah.
I want to like include them, but you don't know like how
To
to
what extent?
include
Yeah,
them.
and to what extent?
Yeah, so that was a little like, you just have to say like, stay self-conscious and humble in the way where when you're in those conversations, people are like congratulating you, and that as they should, as I would do for someone else, but just taking it all with a grain of salt, and like just uh trying to show love to the people who you work around, because yeah, like I said, like just because I did that edit myself doesn't mean that I couldn't be doing that by myself if it wasn't for all those other people. And
Yeah.
we had an awesome squad, so there were definitely times where I was able to shower other people with praise, which is a great feeling too.
Any creators that like you follow right now that you would want us to, or that you want to shout out? That's actually like, or show. It could be anything you get inspired by. Creators, it could be shows, a movie, that people should check out.
That's a great question. uh First thing on my mind is I just watched a movie that was super inspiring. That's one of my favorite movies at this point. It's called Sing Sing. I know it's not like super underground. Uh, is it Coleman Domingo? I
Yeah.
sometimes get his first name wrong, but he was nominated for Best Actor for it in like last year or something. But it's like a story about a theater program in a prison. It's just like so well done all around. And I think watching that, I was just like, it fired me up to like be in this
Mm,
space. Like, oh man, like if I ever if I keep working hard and if I keep getting lucky, like I could be a part of something like that. Like that just gets you up in the morning, fired up. I love music. I like this poster over my shoulder is a J. Cole song.
What's your
So
favorite J. Cole? Okay, what's your favorite J. Cole album? What's your favorite J. Cole song?
favorite album is For Your Eyes Only. It might be a little
Oh, okay.
uncommon, but that's just like my go-to album that I can listen front to back. Every song is good and it has like a cohesive feeling and vibe.
Flow to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Favorite song? I don't know if I have a
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah. That's always a tough one. The one advice you could give an intern, specifically an intern, that is maybe wants to be an intern or is an intern now and like wants to take this next step like you did. Like you were there a year and a half, which is actually, and then now you've moved across. Now you're working with a dope team over at Blue Ox. So it's like, any advice for someone who is at an internship that wants to kind of figure out where they want to go?
The biggest thing that worked for me is just like working my ass off. Honestly, I stopped playing lacrosse. I did not have much of a social life, and didn't even feel like a sacrifice at the time. The only thing I wanted to do was like make videos for the Celtics, and I wanted them to be as good as possible. I didn't even care. Like I said, it wasn't about like getting them on Sports Center and getting followers on my own Instagram. It was just, I had an obsession for like sports videos and making good sports videos. What you put in is what you get out. And I was investing like a lot of time and energy, and I really like saw firsthand that, like I said, like what you give to it, like it's gonna come back to you. And it came back pretty quick in that time, so it was easy to see. But that time and energy investment, it might take a while to pay off. But I think in an internship, yeah, it's just like people can tell pretty quickly like who is a hard worker, who is willing to like do what it takes. I think as an intern you might feel like people aren't watching you or whatever. Like people are watching. Like people notice what you're doing. And I think that extends to a second point where it's like you have to be a good person. You have to be someone who people want to work around. That was a really big thing at the Celtics, and it's a really big thing at Blue Ox too. Like they hire good teams, good places hire people first. You don't want to work with an asshole. You don't want to work with someone who is just worried about themselves. So if you are self-aware and willing to sacrifice for other people, willing to do something that sucks if it means someone else doesn't have to do it and they get to like, that is, people want to work with talented, hardworking people, and they want to work with people who they like spending time around. Just being conscious that like while you are, and this was something, it kind of goes back to my point with that one video, is like I probably fell victim to it at some times where if you're working so hard, you lose sight of maybe the team aspect, or like, oh man, what I'm doing could maybe be rubbing someone the wrong way. Just being, like I said, self-aware, and like knowing that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. I think a lot of these like messages for like an intern, I take a lot from like my time in sports, playing sports, where if you're an intern, that means you're somewhere you're not by yourself, you're working with other people. Someone started that company, like that's someone's baby wherever you are. So playing your role to the best of your ability.
I think it's a team first mentality, right? Always when you're an intern, like you're not soloing it, and like what's team for? And not to say, obviously good teams won't make an intern feel like they're at the bottom of the totem pole, but you have to understand, like sometimes you are doing you're the glue. Sometimes you're doing the dirty work. The shit that people don't see.
And every team needs a glue guy.
Every team, that's what an intern is sometimes. It's like the glue guy, the glue person that doesn't get the praise or anything. Like you can't try to just come onto a team and try to solo it. It's not gonna happen.
Even if they don't appreciate you while you're there, that's their fault. But they will appreciate you when you're gone.
You're gone. Yeah.
Like, damn, he was cleaning up everything. He was doing the late night.
Label it. Yeah.
Like, man, I wish he was still here doing that. And not only was he doing that stuff, but he had a good attitude, and he was making people laugh, and like those are the people that you can't replace so easily. You can find, especially in this industry, you can find people who can edit. You can find people who can shoot. It might be even harder to find someone who you're stoked to be around. So, yeah, just like
Yeah.
having the right energy, important.
Yeah. So if anyone has played sports, you know that one teammate that you're like, God, you're not that great, but I love being around you. Like, or you
Yeah.
might be great, but like, it's always fun going to practice. Like, all right, cool, I got your back. You did error? Okay, cool, whatever, man. Like, pick it up. So,
Yeah, it's
I
the
totally
guy
get
that
it.
like when you score, it's who you want to go celebrate with,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when they score, it's like no one I would rather like. Yeah, everyone goes nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, yo, yeah, I get it. I think that's the biggest thing.